FERC orders fast-track grid links for AI data centers. Grid operators now face a 60-day clock to rewrite interconnection queues already holding up 3 hyperscale campuses. The order prioritizes AI loads but leaves transmission upgrades unfunded, which means utilities will push those costs downstream into higher rates. Expect mid-market data center projects to slip another 18 months while the big 3 lock in firm capacity. Smaller cloud providers lose their window entirely. This forces Google and Microsoft to accelerate on-site generation deals by mid-2026 or absorb the delays. Amazon drops nearly finished Sam Altman biopic. The poll comes right after Amazon committed $50 billion to OpenAI, suggesting the studio wants distance from any Altman spotlight that could turn awkward during sales cycles. Production sat weeks from wrap, yet the project moves without explanation. This timing signals Amazon's enterprise team now treats OpenAI leadership as a liability rather than an asset. Insiders expect the buyer to surface within 30 days with a very different framing. ChatGPT market share falls below 50% for first time. The drop landed hardest in North America, where Gemini picked up 9 points in just 5 months. Enterprise pilots that once defaulted to ChatGPT now split traffic across 3 models to test reliability under load. This fragments the data advantage OpenAI needs for continued fine-tuning. Expect the company to push usage-based enterprise contracts by September or watch seat retention erode further against bundled competitors. Teams now demand multi-model clauses in every new deployment. OpenAI GPT 5.6 leaks point to late June launch. Jakub Petracki called the gains agentic, which points straight at workflow displacement rather than benchmark chasing. Early access partners already report 30% fewer tokens needed for the same task chains. That efficiency lands first in coding agents, where margins compress once inference costs fall. This forces Anthropic to either match the API price or pivot to enterprise-only contracts before the public release hits. Prediction markets price launch odds above 70% inside 4 weeks. AWS Bedrock Agent Core harness goes generally available. Production deployment just became a configuration checkbox rather than a months-long project for most teams. The isolated micro VMs create an audit boundary that lets companies trace exactly where an agent decision originated without relying on third-party monitoring tools. This forces OpenAI and Anthropic to ship comparable isolation layers by early next year or watch enterprise customers route agent traffic exclusively through AWS for compliance. Smaller developers gain immediate access to enterprise-grade guardrails they previously had to build themselves. Gemini 3.5 Pro nears release amid capability leaks. Leaks around the 2M context window miss how this changes RAG costs for agent builders who no longer need constant chunking. The real pressure lands on OpenAI, which must either extend its own context or lose long-form enterprise deals by the end of the year. Smaller labs with fixed context limits face a steeper climb to stay relevant in agent workflows that now favor massive single-pass reasoning. Expect benchmark reports to shift once the model hits production traffic. Shopify opens Universal Commerce Protocol to all developers. Merchants gain agent discovery without paying for additional marketplace features that used to gate access. The protocol forces Amazon to either publish its own open commerce standard or see agent-driven sales migrate to Shopify stores within 18 months. Existing checkout optimization vendors lose their wedge once carts initialize directly from agent prompts across the open network. Transaction fees become the next battleground as volume shifts. Coinbase for Agents enables autonomous crypto trades. Defined limits create a new control plane that banks have so far ignored in their own offerings. Traditional financial institutions must now expose similar agent endpoints or watch crypto transaction share move to Coinbase-hosted agents over the next year. Compliance teams at every exchange face fresh questions about who owns the decision when an agent initiates a transfer outside human review cycles. The custody question will dominate regulatory filings long before trading volume numbers do. OpenAI Maria AI completes first autonomous drug discovery. Contract research organizations still routing every new target through human review boards now face timelines their current headcount cannot support. The human validation step remains, yet it now sits at the end of an automated pipeline rather than the beginning. Maria closed the loop from hypothesis to validated compound without waiting on committee calendars. By Q3 2026, any CRO lacking an integrated agent will watch project costs climb 30%, while faster competitors lock in the next round of pharma partnerships. B2B content strategies shift for AI agent buyers. Marketing budgets are already migrating toward assets agents can parse instead of humans who skim. Agencies still optimizing for human scroll depth will lose briefs once agents start filtering on evidence density alone. The shift turns every case study into potential model fine-tuning fodder. Structured datasets embedded in every asset become the new ranking factor. Within 18 months, the firms that treat content as training material will capture most agent-mediated evaluations, sidelining traditional formats. GLM 5.2 undercuts frontier models on price and coding. Teams running persistent agent fleets no longer need to ration frontier models for only the highest value coding jobs. The gap is no longer raw performance but cost per thousand agent runs. GLM 5.2's parity at lower cost forces the first real margin pressure on API pricing. Anthropic must either match the new rate or watch mid-market developers shift entire workflows to the cheaper provider for everything except the most complex enterprise agents.